This young man is Zhang Li, who transmigrated to this world 18 years ago. Relying on his extraordinary talent, he studied desperately. He learned all sorts of abilities with only one goal: to become the absolute strongest. At the academy, he is a genius that everyone admires. Today is the day of the class awakening, and Zhang Li is feeling very anxious. Everyone believed that with an aptitude so outstanding, Zhang Li would definitely awaken a hidden class. Classes are divided into common classes, high-tier classes, and hidden classes. The strength and difficulty of the classes increase in that order, especially the hidden classes. It's no exaggeration to say they are 1 in 10,000. Once awakened, they grant immense power. And obviously, when one is too outstanding, it also attracts jealousy and resentment from some people. This arrogant-looking young man is Ngim 2. He is one of those who utterly despise Zhang Li. Well, if it isn't the renowned genius everyone's watching, Zhang Li. What kind of high-tier class are you planning on awakening today? Ngim 2 is one of the 3 geniuses of Kim Than Academy. His father is a powerful gold-rank class holder, but at school he's constantly overshadowed by Zhang Li. In response to the question dripping with jealousy, Zhang Li just calmly replied, "I don't know, that's why I'm here." Ngim 2 used one hand to stop Zhang Li, blocking his way. "Don't get too cocky. Watch out you don't awaken some trash-tier class. When that happens, don't blame your brother here for not cutting you any slack." Zhang Li, looking annoyed, told him to let go. But Ngim 2 remained deliberately defiant. Zhang Li said nothing more. He just turned and glared, making the other boy finally let go. In truth, Zhang Li wasn't surprised. Just as he'd expected, he was bound to be the center of attention today. If his awakening failed, it would be a massive embarrassment. To put it bluntly, a genius who fails becomes the world's laughingstock. One by one, the students stepped up. Class 1, Trong Dai Ngu. Awakening failed. Those students who awaken a common class shouldn't be discouraged. With hard work, advancing is also a path with potential. I will now call the next person. On the stage, a powerful light erupted, making everyone gasp in awe and admiration. This was the sign of a grandly successful awakening. The girl Lai Mok Uyen had successfully awakened the high-tier class, Swift-Wind Archer. The students below burst into applause. Wow, as expected from the female genius of our Kim Than Academy. The stage lit up once again as the Class 3 student Ngim 2 successfully awakened the high-tier class, Flame Mage. Even so, Ngim 2 appeared dissatisfied, yet he still put on a smug act. Although it was just a high-tier class, in the eyes of others it was already incredible. You inexperienced fools don't think that working hard like a clown can change anything. Something like aptitude is innate. He said this as a jab at Zhang Li, but Zhang Li still looked like he couldn't care less. Finally, his name was called. The teachers also looked on with great anticipation and excitement. That's Zhang Li, the one with the best record in the entire academy. Indeed, he is a true genius. The moment Zhang Li shut his eyes, a powerful light began to radiate. A teacher witnessing this scene immediately stood up. What's happening? A phenomenon is occurring. Could it be the legendary hidden class? Everyone watched with bated breath until the system announced the result. Zhang Li has awakened the common class mage. The look in the teacher's eyes began to fill with weariness and disappointment. What is this? Wasn't he supposed to be the top student? Meanwhile, guys like Ngim 2 standing below were... The crowd burst out laughing. "Ha ha, serves him right. He's not even as good as my flame mage." The mocking chatter and jeers grew more and more frequent. Some genius? Turns out it was all a sham. Li Muyuan is the one who's truly amazing. They began to pivot, sucking up to Li Muyuan, asking, to form a party. I'm willing to be your subordinate." Zhang Li stood alone on the stage, rendered speechless by the barrage of insults from below. Haha, and he was supposed to be an honor student. In the end, he's just a regular mage. Exactly. I got my hopes up for nothing. An outcome like this is a total disgrace. Have you seen the principal's expression? It's beyond embarrassing. For Zhang Li, it felt as if his whole world was collapsing. It can't be. Is this really all there is to it? However, in his moment of despair, a notification popped up in front of Zhang Li. It was a notification. Congratulations, host, you have awakened the special talent auto max level skill. The young man was completely taken aback. A special talent? I've never heard of this. Could it be related to my transmigration? This is my skill. It's of my own, but they haven't maxed out yet. In the notification bar were 3 skill icons: Fireball, Light Armor Spell, and Meditation. Just a few seconds later, all the skills were boosted to their full level, leaving Zhang Li absolutely stunned, his jaw hanging open. What the heck? He remembered his teacher once said that after awakening, every class user starts with 3 skills. They start at level 1, and as a skill levels up, its power and effectiveness take a quantum leap. However, the difficulty of leveling up a skill is immense. Right now, it's doubtful anyone has ever managed to raise a skill to its max level. From despair, Zhang Lai instantly swung to hope and was incredibly pleased. So maxing out a skill can be this simple. It seems the heavens haven't abandoned me. This auto-max level skill is even more broken than a hidden class. Seeing Zhang Lai standing there frozen and unresponsive, the teacher approached to comfort him. Zhang Lai, are you listening to me? Don't be disheartened. Although it's not a special class, at least you've managed to become a class user. Your future still holds countless opportunities. All of us teachers believe in you. Zhang Lai nodded, breaking into a bright smile. Thank you, Principal. I will continue to work hard. The principal continued to console him. Now pull yourself together and return to your classroom. Despite his comforting words, the principal himself was lamenting the situation. Such a good kid. What a shame. Zhang Lai walked past the people who were laughing at him, thinking to himself, people are, truly pragmatic. More than seeing a genius succeed, they'd rather watch a genius fail. A genius even more. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to disappoint you all. Here at the training grounds, Yan Shu was using his own abilities to train, showing off for everyone to marvel at. The two lackeys who always tailed him stood by cheering as if it was real. So powerful as expected of young Master Yan. At that moment, Zhang Lai was walking by and got called out, "Hey you, the common mage!" As soon as he finished speaking, he even taunted Zhang Lai by spewing fire in his direction. Zhang Lai scowled and turned back. What did you just do? Yan Shu smirked provocatively. Oh, I just wanted to invite our great genius to show off a little. Zhang Lai waved his hand dismissively. I don't give a damn, just forget it. You guys can train by yourselves. I don't need to practice, period. Upon hearing this, Yan Shu's blood began to boil. He aggressively stepped forward. Cut the crap. Who said you had to train? I'm telling you to show off your talent, you dare. Do you dare to fight? A high-level flame mage like me got nothing to say. In the end, Zhang Li, you're just a useless nobody. Just as... He finished his sentence. Zhang Li casually flicked his hand downward, creating a flame that shot directly at Yan Shu. The guy was still smirking arrogantly. You dare use a basic fireball spell. A massive explosion from behind made him and the other two jump in shock. What was that noise? Turning around, they saw that all the training dummies had been completely obliterated. Yan Tu was frozen stiff, completely floored. How is that possible, a common mage like you? How could you? Zhang Li coldly walked away without sparing them a second glance. Even he was surprised by his own ability. The power of this max-level fireball spell was just ridiculously OP. Zhang Lai returned home, still thinking to himself, even though the max-level fireball is insanely powerful, that one attack just now consumed half of my mana. I need to level up quickly to raise my mana cap. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out, You're back and didn't even say hello. Go wash your hands, dinner is ready. His mother's name was Dan Qingshui. Sitting at the dinner table, the young man held nothing back and explained, Mom, I successfully awakened today. I'm a mage. Hearing this, his mother smiled pleased. A mage? That's wonderful. In a party, you can stay in the back and cast skills from a safe distance. Oh, that's right, I have something to give you. Zhang Li's curiosity was piqued as his mother brought out a box. This is something your father left for you. He was also a powerful profession holder back in the day. Zhang Li was taken aback. My father. But didn't you always tell me he died before I was even born, and he was a profession holder? A powerful one. So where did he go? Why hasn't he checked on us after all these years? Dan Qingshui said in a sorrowful voice, I don't know either. At the time, he just said he had to go to the world's frontier, that there was something very important to take care of. He left in a huge rush. But please don't blame him. He always said he definitely wanted you to become a mage. That's why I always encouraged you to focus on the mage curriculum. As his mother spoke, tears began to well up in her eyes. Now you're grown up and have successfully become a mage. I'm tired, I'm going to head to my room to rest first. Go ahead and see what's inside the box. Zhang Li, now curious, looked at the box his father left behind and began to open it. A light shone from within. Inside was a class change scroll, and on it a note that read, Use this scroll to change your class to the powerful illusionist. Class change condition must be a mage-type profession holder who has reached the gold rank or higher. Zhang Li was astounded as he read. A class change scroll that grants a special class, and the requirement is to be a gold rank profession holder. In this world, profession holders are divided into clear ranks. Upon reaching a certain level and meeting specific conditions, they can perform a breakthrough to the next rank. Yantu's father is one of the top 1 or 2 profession holders in all of Jin City, and even he is only at the gold rank. For my father to have obtained a scroll of this caliber, what rank must he have been? Saint rank, or even a demigod? If he was that powerful, then why has there been no word from him after all these years? But right now, I need to focus on leveling up to become a gold rank profession holder. Plus, the Jin City profession holder trial is being held in 7 days. By then, the profession holders of this generation will be participating. This gives me a chance to prepare. The next morning in a public square, a large crowd was gathered. Ha! Look at this newbie who doesn't know his limits. Just awakened and he's already heading into the wilds to get himself killed. Maybe he's got some powerful unique class or something. Are you blind? Look at how scrawny that guy is. Besides, what else could a mage be? Zhongli walked past overhearing all of their gossip. Suddenly, someone approached and patted his shoulder. Hey little bro, judging by your looks, you must be a newly awakened student, right? Want to party up with us? Zhongli subconsciously turned to look, and then 2 guys in the party said to the woman, Shu Wei, this time we have an important mission. How can we bring along a dead weight like him? That's right. If he doesn't know what he's getting into, that's his problem. Shu Wei, you're just too nice. Shu Wei turned back and scolded them. How could you guys be like that? Zhongli gave a forced smile. It's okay. Thanks for the kind offer, but I'll be fine on my own. He then waved goodbye, but Shu Wei ran to stop him. Wait a minute, if you don't want to party up with us, then at least take this. She then handed him a bottle containing mana. Seeing as you're a mage too, you'll probably need this later. Zhongli accepted it, a warm smile spreading across his face from the stranger's kindness. Thanks. Then Shu Wei waved. Well, we're heading out first. You take care of yourself. In the gray forest, a large level 4 goblin appeared. Zhongli hid behind a tree branch observing. When it wasn't looking, he threw a fireball towards it. The goblin couldn't react in time and could only watch helplessly as the fireball hurtled towards it. A massive explosion erupted. Zhongli walked over and saw that it had been vaporized. He was freaking ecstatic. As expected of a max-level fireball skill, even a level 4 goblin is dealt with easily. However, the recent explosion had attracted the attention of others in the distance. They immediately turned to look, and a whole crowd of them appeared like a massive horde right before his eyes. Zhongli thought to himself, attracted by the commotion, huh? But this is perfect. It saves me the trouble of hunting them down one by one. He then activated a skill just before the mob of monsters could attack. Zhongli cast light armor skill. A barrier appeared blocking the attacking goblins. From inside, he looked at them with contempt. My max-level light armor skill. Yet you think it's that easy for you to break? As time passed, Zhongli's fireball skill also came off cooldown. He directly slammed a powerful blow into the rocky ground, causing the entire mob of monsters to be knocked back by the aftershock. A system notification popped up: level up. He had now reached level 2, but to Zhongli, this amount of experience was still too little. As he was thinking, he saw more goblins approaching. Zhongli smiled. No matter how many of you come, the result will be the same. He was about to snap his fingers to cast fireball again, but life isn't always what you expect. This time the fireball didn't appear. Zhongli froze, not understanding what had just happened. He opened his status window and exclaimed, "Holy crap! Is this me being out of mana?" He had only cast 2 fireballs and 1 light armor skill, yet his mana was already depleted. Zhongli thought, could it be that because I just leveled up, my mana limit increased? But when he looked at his shield, he breathed a sigh of relief, as the energy shield from his light armor skill was still at half strength. Zhongli told himself, after I wipe them all out, I'll use the meditation skill to recover my mana. They can't break my shield anyway. Zhongli bent down and picked up the club from a goblin that had already kicked the bucket. Pointing it at the approaching mob, he said, "You guys can help me play for a bit. Let me show you the power of a melee mage." He swung the club and hit a goblin, but its health only dropped by a mere 10 points. Overall, it was basically scratch damage. Zhongli was dismayed. Sure enough, the melee damage is really low, but for him that was enough, because the monsters couldn't land a single hit on him. After a long, intense battle, the protective shield of his light armor skill finally ran out, but Zhang Li had wiped out the mob of monsters. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. He'd finally ground them all down. His physical damage was also way too low. His level increased by 1 again. Currently, Zhang Li only had 1 offensive spell, the fireball spell. However, his current mana was only enough to cast it twice, not to mention the light armor spell also consumed a lot. He realized that this level of efficiency was too slow. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the forest, causing a flock of birds to scatter in panic. Zhang Li looked in that direction. He guessed from the sound, could it be a giant goblin? He was startled when he realized an elite monster had appeared. Defeating an elite monster in the early game would probably grant a ton of experience. This is perfect timing, he thought with a smile. But when he tried to use the light armor spell, no armor appeared. He checked and discovered his mana was completely depleted. Well, I'm screwed. The level 10 giant axe goblin angrily raised its large axe, preparing to swing it down. Zhang Li had no way to face it head-on. He could only dodge to the side. His entire body was drenched in sweat as he thought, this is going to be a real pain. But behind him, smaller goblins had also appeared. Zhang Li turned his head to look back and sighed. I almost forgot, about the small fry. In this critical situation, Zhang Li told himself to stay calm and figure out a plan. He considered his first option, find a chance to use the meditation spell to recover mana, but this situation offered basically no opportunity. The second option was to use the only mana potion he had, but this potion would only restore less than 1/3 of his mana, enough to activate the light armor spell, but not enough to attack. The third option, a temporary retreat to recover his status and then return. But running away isn't my style. If he returned to wait for his mana to regenerate naturally, it would take 24 hours. During that time, the elite monster could be snatched by someone else. He made his decision. Quickly, Zhang Li opened the mana potion, chugged it all, and tossed the bottle. As the giant axe goblin swung its axe down, he activated the light armor spell. Just in time, the shield appeared and blocked the blow. Meanwhile, Zhang Li sat down and began using the meditation spell to recover mana. The giant axe goblin furiously attacked the defensive barrier but couldn't break through. Time passed, and just as the shield was about to shatter, Zhang Li's mana had recovered to more than half. He stood up, his eyes gleaming, and said, "That's enough. Are you tired of hitting me yet?" Zhang Li pointed his finger at the boss, gifting it a fireball spell. The orb flew straight into the giant axe goblin's weak spot, sending it flying backward and crashing into the smaller monsters, creating a huge explosion. A system notification popped up. Successful attack on a weak point, dealing a critical hit. Zhang Li wiped the sweat from his forehead. That was dangerous. A max-level meditation spell is truly useful. Another notification rang out. Level increased by 4, current level 7. The young man was ecstatic. Power leveling by killing an elite monster actually let him jump 4 levels at once. Zhang Li walked over to the monsters' corpses to see if there was any good loot. Oh, 2 pieces of HTS grade equipment. Agility gloves and refined boots. But based on my current fighting strength, if I'm not killing the monsters, then the monsters are killing me. Upgrading this newbie gear probably won't make a huge difference, and it's a bit ugly too. I'll just hold on to it and find a chance to sell it. Besides, based on my current mana, I still can't cast a third fireball spell at full capacity. What's more, every time, I have to risk my life luring the monsters together. At this rate of efficiency, even grinding monsters for a whole day can't compare to killing one elite monster. It would be great if I had other low-cost wide-area attack spells. But just as he was feeling bored, Zhang Li saw a book. His eyes instantly lit up as if he'd struck gold. Holy smokes, it's actually a skill book, and what's more, even novice class users can learn it. I wonder what skill this is. Just then, a bolt of lightning shot out from the skill book, leaving Zhang Li utterly astonished. Void Lightning, I remember this is an area of effect skill. Void Lightning level 10 0.5 second cooldown, consumes 6 mana points, can chain through multiple targets with a paralysis effect, and its damage scales with the user's level. Zhang Li burst out laughing in excitement. So it's a scaling skill, and it even has a crowd control effect. I'm dying to try it out. As time went on, deep in the forest, a mob of goblins were sleeping in their camp. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck, paralyzing the monsters and sending them into a rage. Zhang Li still activated the power. One hit wasn't enough to finish them, then take another. The monsters were immediately struck with another blast. This time, they were completely wiped out. Zhang Li thought to himself, even though the damage isn't as high as Fireball, the mana cost of 4 Void Lightning casts is barely equal to 1 Fireball, and the cooldown is much faster. Plus, I don't even need to mob them up. Isn't this exactly what I needed? Now that I have a way to clear out the small fry, the next target, Asura, is the Grey Forest's regional boss. If even an elite monster can drop such great rewards and experience, the boss area must be on another level. But learning from my last lesson, I need to get back to full mana first. Time passed, and once his mana was full, he resumed his search for the boss's location. Is this a goblin tribe? The boss area is probably in here. Zhang Li scanned the area and saw that the creatures were all sound asleep. Looks like they're all out cold. While they're, deep in sleep, I'll find the boss, hit it with a couple of fireballs and see what happens. But halfway there, he accidentally stepped on a rotten stick, making a loud noise. Not good. Instantly, a nearby goblin was startled awake. Zhang Li grabbed the stick using all his might, wanting to take this one out as quickly as possible. Just hold still for me, but he wasn't a warrior or an assassin, so the blow did practically nothing. Jiang Li forced a smile. I knew it. Just then the goblin and started to go berserk, growling to alert its comrades. Hearing the noise, the other goblins woke up and switched into hunting mode. The 36 and stratagems running is the best one, Jiang Li yelled as he fled. Stop chasing me. Stop it. I know I was wrong. I still have to save my mana, to fight the boss. But one of them grabbed a nearby rock and pegged Jiang Li in the head. The pissed-off young man spun around. I told you not to chase me. You guys just had to do it the hard way. Fine then, just go die. He then unleashed his lightning skill, blasting the mob until they were paralyzed, which instantly wiped out half their health bars. With only a 2-second cooldown, Jiang Li immediately used it again, unleashing another blast on the monsters. Eat this too. Just like that, they all lay motionless. Jiang Li had dealt with them cleanly. I mean, why did you guys have to mess with me? He muttered. But I still don't see the boss. Could it not be in the tribe's camp? As he stood there, Jiang Li suddenly felt the ground shake. An earthquake. Why all of a sudden, Han didn't notice that the stone statue behind him had begun to glow. His mind, still preoccupied, was wondering why. This was happening so suddenly. Flashback to not long before 3 figures were roaming the forest searching for Jiang Li. It's this late and he's still in the forest grinding levels. Isn't he just asking for a death wish? If we use this chance to cripple that brat Jiang Li, our dear cousin will definitely be thrilled. I wonder what kind of reward Uncle will give us. This man is Yan Quan, the cousin of Yan Shu, the one with the blonde hair. Was very happy. I wonder what kind of reward Uncle will give me then. This guy's name is Yan Quan, the cousin of Yan Shu, the blonde one. Telling him, boss, it's this late. Is that Zhang kid really still in bed? Yan Quan scowled. What, you don't believe me? The blonde-haired guy waved his hands in fear. No, how could I dare doubt you? Brother Quan, what I mean is at night. It's very dangerous outside. If you run into an elite monster or a boss, a novice job class user stands no chance. As the 3 of them were talking, they suddenly felt a tremor. Yan Quan growled, this reaction. Someone triggered the boss area. Looks like we've got an unexpected bonus. The boss here is the 3-star Black Iron Goblin Priest. Job class users like us can barely handle it. No matter who's fighting the boss right now, let's let them fight for a while first. We'll swoop in and reap the rewards. The scene shifts back to Jiang Li, who had also just realized what it was. So this is the boss of the Grey Forest area. Why does its aura feel weaker than the elite monster from before? But when the information appeared, it was a level 20 Goblin Priest boss. It then began to activate an ice skill with its staff. Jiang Li also smiled. Oh, you're a mage too. He then summoned a fireball in his hand. But your casting speed is way too slow. He threw it directly at the goblin. A loud explosion erupted and a notification appeared in his log. Successful attack on a weak point, dealing a critical hit. But from within the flames, its silhouette emerged, shooting out a ball of ice that hurtled toward Jiang Li. He had anticipated its attack and already had a shield ready. I knew it wouldn't be that simple. But he hadn't expected one of its skills to wipe out half of his shield's durability. A warning appeared. Incoming level 5 ice arrow attack from the Goblin Priest boss. Jiang Li's jaw dropped. Such high damage. The goblin was also affected by the flames he had created using its cloak to shield itself. But as the fire died down, it looked all around but couldn't find Jiang Li anywhere, leaving it all alone. Currently, Jiang Li had hidden behind a tree to try and recover his mana. The goblin grew impatient and started using its skills again, blasting tree after tree to find Jiang Li's hiding spot. The young man watched in fear as the tree next to him was obliterated. I must have hit a weak point. That's it. That cloak it's wearing probably has fire and magic resistance. Just now I cleared out the small fry, and now I'm rushing to fight a boss. With my current mana, I definitely can't take it down. While it still hasn't found me, I have to recover some mana first. Time passed slowly as the boss gradually wore down the surrounding trees. The nearby woods were heavily damaged. This time it headed toward the spot where Jiang Li was sitting, and from behind, it launched a skill that flew through the tree trunk, shattering Jiang Li's last layer of defense. Meanwhile, Jiang Li was still focused on regenerating his mana. Hearing the sound of his defense shattering, Jiang Li's eyes snapped open and he looked toward the goblin. It cackled happily, having found him. Ka. It then began to condense a massive ice skill that appeared in the sky. Jiang Li thought to himself, this time, I'm really screwed. The young man looked at his still low mana pool. I don't even have enough mana to cast Fireball. I can only go all out. Jiang Li unleashed his lightning skill at it. This time, more and more lightning bolts struck down. The goblin let out piercing screams as its skill casting was interrupted. Its whole body went numb and it knelt on the ground, paralyzed. Jiang Li smiled. The paralysis effect of a max-level lightning spell can actually interrupt its casting. What a great opportunity. He then dashed toward the boss's body and snatched its cloak. The system announced he had obtained it. A valuable cloak. Zhang Li smirked sinisterly. Without this, you won't be able to withstand my magic. Right? He thought to himself. Steal its counter gear first, then use hit-and-run tactics. Holding its cloak, he felt more confident this time. Much more. Now it's my turn to counterattack. Zhang Li paralyzed it once more to buy time to run. After a while, recovering from the paralysis, it started to get up. Without its protective cloak, its body was filled with pain. It then angrily radiated killing intent, trying to find Zhang Li, but looking around he was nowhere to be seen. Finally, it spotted a cloak. Fluttering right behind a bush. It smirked and began to channel its skill. A single shot flew straight toward it and the tree was blown to smithereens, creating a huge explosion up ahead. From behind, a familiar voice spoke up, "Where are you looking?" The game is over. This time he had enough mana to create a fireball. He dared to unleash a powerful attack toward it. It could only use its skill to form a shield to block, but against Zhang Li's max-level skill, the shield shattered in an instant. The young man successfully struck its weak point, dealing a critical hit that left the boss's HP with just a sliver remaining. Even though you have a defensive skill, I have a max-level fireball spell, so it's like you have a fire resistance. No matter how strong your defense is, you'll still take massive damage. But today you ran into me, so it's just your bad luck. Zhang Li, holding the wooden staff, walked toward it. This time the young man was determined to finish it off for good. A notification appeared. Leveled up by 3 levels. Current level 10. Along with that, a pile of rare equipment dropped. Not bad, a magic. A staff I can probably use. Zhang Li looked at its fire-resistant cloak. The stats showed black iron quality requires at level 5 or higher. Note, wearing this cloak can enhance immunity to fire damage. Current. Durability is 0. It has been damaged. Zhang Li frowned. So there's this too. Turns out it's just a cloak specifically for the fire attribute. No wonder it could resist my fireball spell. Besides, it's completely wrecked now. It feels useless. More importantly, the skill book. Zhang Li opened it and read Ice Arrow spell learned. Initial level 5. Current. Gaineth level of Ice Arrow spell 10. Cooldown 3 seconds. Cast time 2 seconds. Mana cost 200 points. Skill description. Can inflict a large amount of damage to a single target. The amount of damage dealt is related to the user's level. Joy appeared on Zhang Li's face once again. A level 5 Ice Arrow spell is already this powerful. I wonder how effective it'll be at max level. Zhang Li inspected the staff the boss was using earlier. Goblin's Staff of Grudges. Magic Penetration. Sha plus 10. Bronze quality. Requires Mage type class level 7 or higher. Note, be careful this magic. A staff will cause you to be treated as an enemy by all goblins. Zhang Li thought, so it's a bronze-grade magic staff and it even has a magic penetration effect. No wonder even my max-level light armor spell couldn't withstand a single hit. With this in the future, I'll be able to deal with monsters that have innate magic resistance. But suddenly, a voice came from behind Jiang. Tam Lai. Kid, don't move. Put your hands up. A blonde man said to Yan Quan. Big bro, there's no one else around here. This kid's team is probably all wiped out. The man named Yan Quan pointed at Zhang Li. Kid, are you Zhang Li? Just awakening as a job holder only to immediately defeat the regional boss is great, but it's a shame the teammates you abandoned might be even stronger than you. Zhang Li raised his hands curiously, asking, how do you know my name? The guy began to boastfully introduce himself. I am Yan Quan of the Yan family from Golden City. I heard you used to bully my cousin at school. Did you really think the Yan family has no one? Zhang Li forced a smile, feigning fear while secretly trying to recover his mana. So you're classmate Yan's cousin. Classmate Yan is the genius of our school. How would I dare bully him? As it happens, I have a few small items here. Why don't you take a look and see if there's anything you like? Yan Quan acted all high and mighty. Befriend you? Don't even say that. But befriending me? Forget it. He then exuded a menacing aura ready to bully Zhang Li. Speak up. You want to keep your hands or your feet? I'll try to be gentle. Zhang Li sighed. We're all acquaintances here. No need to start making threats and getting physical the moment we meet. Just then, one of the henchmen noticed something different about Zhang Li. Boss, this kid is using meditation to recover mana. But Yan Quan was still confident. Oh please, so what if he recovers to full mana? The three of us are Black Iron rank job holders. You think we can't beat a single novice rank, especially a common mage? Zhang Li finally dropped his timid act. Oh, so the three of you are Black Iron rank job holders? Is that so? That's just perfect. Hearing Zhang Li's tone, Yan Quan remained calm. You're not thinking of a desperate, last-ditch fight with us, are you? Let me tell you, we won't give you the chance to cast any spells. But as soon as he spoke, Zhang Li had already used lightning to paralyze them. Standing before Yan Quan, Zhang Li cracked his knuckles menacingly. They say villains die from talking too much. I was waiting for my mana to recover. What were you guys waiting for? Yan Quan's face twisted with rage. Damn it! How can you cast spells so fast? Who knows? Zhang Li activated the fireball spell in his hand, directly blasting the group with it. A moment later, all three of them were stripped bare by Zhang Li. As expected of Black Iron rank job holders, you really have a lot of good stuff on you. Zhang Li was in an extremely good mood, stuffing everything into his backpack. From now on, why would I even bother hunting monsters? Robbing people gets you more, but fighting the regional boss only got me 3 levels. It seems I'll have to find another place to level up tomorrow. 3 Black Iron rank thugs trying to rob a novice only to get a taste of their own medicine and get such a humiliating event they'd be too ashamed to even mention it if they ever made it back. Night fell in the small town of Rose. Zhang Li panted as he walked weighed down by a pile of loot, thinking going out for one trip and bringing back so much stuff is exhausting. It would be great if I had a spatial item. And so Zhang Li arrived at the Golden Dragon Pavilion. This must be the place. As soon as he walked in, an enthusiastic employee greeted him. Hello, how may I help you? Zhang Li directly dumped everything out of his bag. I want to sell some equipment and materials. The employee saw the huge pile of items and forced a smile, saying, please wait a moment, I'll go calculate the payment for you right away. After some time, the employee returned. Sir, I finished the calculation. Based on market prices, the total is 972,000 Yanlong coins. So let's just make it an even 1 million Yanlong coins for you. Zhang Li couldn't believe his ears. 1 million? My mother's monthly salary is only 3,000, and I made 1 million so easily. This truly is the difference between a normal person and a job holder. Really, at this rate, I'll be living comfortably soon enough. Zhang Li said to the staff member, do you sell basic skill books here? And the staff member replied, we do not. Please follow me. Zhang Li followed her upstairs where a girl was standing. Seeing him, she immediately recognized that it was Zhang Li. She was the genius prodigy of Jincheng Academy Mo Qingqing. A servant approached and said to her, Miss, everything is ready. Inside the Golden Dragon Pavilion's book repository, Zhang Li directly made his requests. I need basic mage-type skills. Do you have any recommendations? The cheerful girl pulled out a large pile of different books. These are all skills that a novice mage can learn. You can choose a few that you like. There was Windblade, Ice Arrow, Delay, Earth Spike, and Probe. All were D rank and priced at 600,000 Flame Dragon coins. Zhang Li thought for a moment. He hadn't expected one book to cost 600,000. It seemed his 1 million couldn't be spent so freely. For now, I can only buy a cheaper one to get by. I've already mastered Fireball, Lightning Arc, and Ice Arrow. For the time being, I'm not lacking in single target and AoE attacks. For defense, I also have light armor. Although Lightning Arc has a paralysis effect, its duration is too short. Maybe I should just buy a crowd control skill. After deciding, Zhang Li picked up the Delay skill book. I want to buy this Delay skill. The book read Delay Level 10. Cooldown 1 second, casting time 0.4 seconds. Duration 2 seconds. Mana cost 30 points. Skill description. Can cause the target to be slowed. The slowing effect is related to the user's level. Zhang Li thought to himself, I still need to solve my mana limit problem. I'll use the remaining money to buy support items. He then smiled and asked again, Oh, right, do you sell things like mana potions here? The staff replied, Please wait a moment, in a reception room. A conversation was taking place. Miss Mo, I've gathered the information. In the Gale Plains, there truly is a Black Iron rank secret dungeon instance, but the entrance is unconfirmed. It will take a little more time to find it. Mo Qingqing smiled and said, It's all right. As long as we've confirmed the entrance is in the Gale Plains, I will go find it myself tomorrow. Thank you, Manager Lin. Manager Lin said shyly, It's nothing at all. Mo Qingqing once again thought about Zhang Li. I heard that Zhang Li's awakening ceremony had an accident and he ended up as just an ordinary mage. He shouldn't be able to show up here. Did I see wrong? But she was suddenly jolted from her thoughts by a voice. Miss, what are you thinking about? Startled, she replied awkwardly, Nothing. If you can clear this secret dungeon instance, miss, your rank will surely soar. Reaching Black Iron rank shouldn't be a problem. When it comes to the trial competition next week, you'll definitely be able to suppress the young lady from the Li family. We shouldn't delay. Uncle Fu summoned Mo Da and the others. They will enter the secret realm with me. Yes, miss. the scene changes to the Gale Plains, where mad wolves were rushing toward Zhongli, but he calmly used his staff to cast a lightning skill paralyzing them. Their health dropped by only half. As my level increases, the damage from my magic also gets higher. Now when fighting goblins, just one cast of lightning arc is enough to finish them in an instant. While Zhongli was still thinking, a wolf from behind lunged at him, but as it got close, it was blocked by his defensive shield. He sighed, "I'm really out of options." He then started kiting, running around to gather the wolves together while waiting for his cooldowns. When they were up, he turned back to use his lightning spell, but unexpectedly the pack's speed allowed them to dodge the pursuit of his electric arcs. Zhongli was stunned. These Gale Wolves could actually evade his lightning. If that's the case, he used the new skill he had just bought, delaying spell, making the wolves' speed drop as if they were shackled, reducing their mobility to a minimum. Zhongli was amazed using it for the first time. So this is a max level delaying spell. The casting speed is so fast and with no tells it can't be dodged, but it's single target only. Using it 3 times is a real luxury. I have to finish these guys off quickly before other Gale Wolves arrive. A moment later, Zhongli had to chug another mana potion. His level had now risen to 11. He said cheerfully, "Good thing I bought a support item at the Golden Dragon Pavilion last night. My grinding efficiency today is much higher. Now then, how to deal with this elite mob, suh?" He wondered, spotting a massive ferocious pack leader, a level 20 blood-patterned giant wolf. Zhongli immediately hid behind a boulder, his eyes gleaming with cunning. When it wasn't paying attention, taking the chance while the pack was distracted, he stealthily used a skill. Thunder. The wolves were paralyzed. Zhongli quickly rushed in with a fireball in his hand. "Now's the time, take out the alpha first." An explosion was unleashed, striking its weak spot and successfully landing a critical hit. The smaller mobs were instantly defeated, but the blood-patterned giant wolf survived. Zhongli focused. Next up, a one-on-one. It roared, opening its mouth filled with sharp fangs, and charged at Zhongli. He sneered, "You should behave," and used bind. And on it. As it charged, its body suddenly halted, unable to get any closer to him. Zhongli slowly stepped closer. "Although I don't know the weak spot of a Gale Wolf, one thing's for sure. Lots of fur means it's afraid of fire." Seeing the fireball in Zhongli's hand, the wolf began to feel fear. Once again, an explosion was caused by the fireball. "Congratulations. You have successfully hit a weak spot, causing a critical hit. You have leveled up twice on current level 13. Log loot acquired, black iron gauntlets, black iron ring. Even though it's only black iron grade equipment, at least it's small. I wonder how much money I can get for it." Zhongli put them in his backpack, but suddenly he felt a violent tremor as his staff on the ground began to shake. He looked fearfully towards the distance, where a cloud of dust was slowly rolling in. An enormous pack of wolves was charging his way. "Holy crap, I only killed one baby. Elite mob, do you really need to come after me for revenge like this?" Zhongli then took out another mana potion from his reserve pouch, to prepare for the next wave of attacks. But before he could even drink it, the wolf pack was already upon him. He thought he was a goner, but the pack completely ignored him and ran straight past. Phew, so they weren't coming for me, but he quickly realized something was wrong. Wolves are pack animals. The only thing that could gather a pack of this size is a wolf king. Had someone triggered to the boss area. "No way, I can't let someone else steal the boss. Kill that boss is mine." Zhongli hastily grabbed all his things and ran after the wolf pack. Elsewhere, 2 groups were fighting. One side was at a disadvantage. Hua Vi and her 2 companions were surrounded by a group of people taking advantage of the chaos to rob them. "What kind of heroes are you people?" But as soon as he finished speaking, his teammate next to him was immediately struck by an arrow that pierced his throat. Even though we really aren't exactly heroes, if you want to blame someone, blame yourselves for being so stupid. Coming out in the open to raid a boss like this and making no preparations whatsoever. If we don't rob you, who else would we rob? The opposing group gloated arrogantly. "Your gear is mine, and the blood-patterned Wolf King is mine too." Shu Wei's team captain replied, "Find the gear and the blood-patterned Wolf King are all yours. Just let us go." Hearing this, the group burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, of course, but I've just changed my mind. Hand over that priest behind you. After I've had my fun with her, I'll naturally let you go," he said, wearing a lustful expression. Shu Wei was terrified. "Captain!" The captain, with a despicable look on his face, said, "Shu Wei, don't blame me. I want to live." He then turned to grab her as a substitute. "Captain, don't come near me," Zhu Wei cried, her mouth still repeatedly saying, "Don't come over here." but from a distance a bolt of lightning flew in and struck the bandits behind them, leaving the captain stunned. Everyone simultaneously looked toward where the lightning came from. The brute with the red hair growled, "Who the hell dares to ruin my fun? Show yourself." He then looked toward the cloud of dust where a shadow was slowly stepping out. Zhongli smiled. "Robbing people before it's even dark, aren't you dedicated?" He then held out his hand, conjuring a fireball. But while he was talking, another guy snuck up from behind and swung a blade at him. As if Zhongli already knew, he turned his head and said, "I wasn't finished talking. Don't interrupt." He then gifted the man a full-on fireball to the face. The explosion horrified the crowd. The captain, who was with Shu Wei, took the chance to drop his sword and run for his life. Her eyes, upon seeing him, held a mix of surprise and joy. "It's you." The bandit leader was also shocked to see Zhongli approach, so he had backup. "He took down my boys in a single blow. This guy is no saint. But no matter how you look at it, he's just a mage," he shouted, commanding the remaining men. "Everyone get him. Don't give him a chance to use his magic." But Zhongli's eyes showed no concern for them. Why is everyone always like this? Then, another fireball appeared in his hand. Using his fireball spell combined with a spinning motion, the flames directly knocked back all of them at once. "You're all that eager to die." The bandit captain was now sweating buckets, tears streaming down his face from fear. No way. It's clearly just a normal mage skill. Why is it so powerful?" He quickly gave up his weapon, throwing it to the ground in unconditional surrender. "Your Excellency, this is all a misunderstanding." He then turned to look at Shu Wei. "Please take her away. The blood-patterned Wolf King is in the cave." Zhongli had heard enough. "If you chose to attack me, then you should face the consequences. Stop your whining." Immediately after, Zhongli aimed an ice arrow spell at him. One shot pierced through his body. As he was about to die, he still managed to scream, "My Blood Wolf Mercenary Guild won't let you get away with this." And just like that, he dropped dead. Zhongli smiled and went to loot all their stuff. To be able to cast so many skills in one go, it seems the boost from leveling up is still quite significant. At this moment, Shu Wei walked over and shyly said, Thank you for saving me. I never expected you to be so powerful. To think I was worried about you for nothing before." Shu Wei appeared extremely bashful. Seeing this, Zhongli responded with a cheerful smile, "It's no problem. You saved me once before, so now we're even now." "Right. I'm about to go fight a boss. Want to come along?" Shu Wei asked as she walked looking over at him. She thought, he just finished fighting those villains, and now he wants to challenge a boss. He can't be that old. Is it a powerful hidden class? After the two ventured deeper inside, they saw the level 25 blood-patterned Wolf King boss sleeping. Shu Wei thought to herself, "So this is the blood-patterned Wolf King? I'm only level 20 and just recently class changed to Black Iron. Will the two of us be enough?" She looked worriedly at Zhongli, but he already had a fireball in his hand and immediately threw it at the sleeping boss. "How will we know if we don't try?" Just like that, a flame erupted. Zhongli watched and thought, why didn't it show a critical hit? Could this boss's fire resistance be that high? In the flames, the Wolf King appeared. Its health only dropped a little. It growled, "Intruders must die," then charged towards Zhongli. The young man thought to himself, "I can't believe it can speak. Are all bosses this intelligent?" Although its fire resistance isn't weak, it doesn't seem to have any magic resistance. He dodged to the side, avoiding the attack. "I think I can do this." Zhongli used the delay spell, causing its speed to decrease rapidly. But it still leaped onto a rock and charged at him again. Without hesitation, he used the light armor spell, creating a protective shield around his body. One of its attacks left the shield with just a sliver of health. As expected of a boss, it almost shattered my shield. Even with a speed debuff, it's still this agile. In that case, I'll have to get serious too. Zhongli then used the solo skill Ice Arrow. Shu Wei didn't just stand by, she used a magic buff at his feet. "I'm here to buff your magic attack power." Zhongli launched the Ice Arrow, but it unexpectedly dodged. She watched disappointed. It dodged. But it was all within Zhongli's expectations. I saw that coming. Zhongli immediately redirected the arrow, which was flying straight, causing it to suddenly change course and strike it directly in its underbelly. The attack log showed, "Weak point hit, critical damage dealt." The boss's health dropped by double the amount. Zhongli laughed. "I learned this trick from you bosses." He thought, so the weak point of wolf-type beasts is their waist and stomach. Its health was down to half. Its body began to tremble and it roared, entering a berserk state. She warned, "Be careful, the boss is enraged." Suddenly, a pack of other wolves appeared from behind, rushing to protect it. Zhongli immediately realized, "I didn't expect this boss to know how to summon minions." She quickly buffed him and helped Zhongli replenish his mana. Seeing the pack of wolves, Zhongli didn't hesitate. He gifted them a fireball. Notifications of experience points continuously popped up as he killed them. He thought to himself, so that's how it is. This cave is very small. Summoning so many minions actually hinders the boss's own agility. Zhongli then said to it, "Hey, use that last skill again and I'll spare you for now." Hearing this, it roared once more. It summoned the small monsters again. Zhongli smiled, "This is more like it." He then hit it with another fireball. With a loud explosion, the small monsters were continuously wiped out by him. The experience from the small wolves kept rolling in. Zhongli received 20 experience points for each. The young man was panting from exhaustion while his support Shu Wei was getting sleepy but still received 10 experience points for each kill. Zhongli continuously drank mana potions to recover. The system log displayed level up. At level 15, Zhang Lai threw a mana potion on the ground. Let's keep going. He thought to himself, if he had known the boss had this skill, why would he have bothered hunting other monsters? The boss was now completely exhausted, not a single drop left. Zhang Li still aimed an ice arrow at it. "Oh, you're done for, are you? Well, there's no other way. I'll have to hold back my tears and take the last bit of value you have." Then Zhang Li fired his ice arrow skill. The boss never expected that this time his target was it. "The demon, you're a demon." Realizing that Zhang Li had drained all its strength before finishing it off, it could only despair. Just then, a surprise notification popped up, making her turn her head to look. Log level increased by 1. Current level, level 2. Zhang Li also leveled up by 1, reaching level 16. The young man laughed and said, "I managed to grind 3 whole levels here, and I got a ton of drops too. What a steal." Shu Wei turned to look, thinking back on the entire boss fight. To think someone would use the boss's summoning skill to farm experience. Who's the real boss here? Zhang Li called her, "Shu Wei, come here for a second." "Me." She walked over. Zhang Li handed a staff to her. "This is your share." "Mine." "But I didn't do anything," Zhang Li explained. "Didn't you help me recover mana and boost my magic damage? You're an excellent support. If we run into any danger, I'll still need your help." Shu Wei took the staff, thinking to herself, "It seems I'm still quite important to him." After that, the two left the cave. Zhang Li opened his information panel. The boss dropped 2 skill books just now. I forgot to check their effects. I remember they were the light body technique and the tidal marsh technique. The light body technique can increase one's own movement speed. No wonder the Wolf King could still move even after being hit by my slow spell. And there's the tidal marsh technique. It's said to be able to control multiple enemies at once. I'll have to find a chance to test it out. But while he was lost in thought, Shu Wei called out, "Zhang Li, hurry over here and look, it's ghost orchid grass. Although it has no effect on job holders for ordinary people, it's a high-grade medicinal herb that can cure 100 ailments. It could probably sell for a good price." Shu Wei plucked it and handed it to Zhang Li. "One for you, one for me. Perfect." "Thanks. My mother is an ordinary person and years of hard work have left her with many old ailments. With this, I hope she can get a little healthier." While smiling, he looked toward a large rock and noticed something different. "Zhang Li, look! There's a light coming from that rock wall." Without hesitation, he brought out his fireball. "There seems to be something inside the wall. Stand back a bit." He then immediately shattered it. As the dust settled, Zhang Li was astonished. "This is a hidden instance dungeon?" A notification appeared as the two approached to investigate. Discovered hidden instance dungeon, Black Iron tier level 25. Entrance to the Dark Altar. The 1 of 2. Difficulty limited. Player level requirement level 23 or below. Number of players 2 to 6. Shu Wei advised, "It looks a bit dangerous. Maybe we should go back and prepare a little. After all, as long as we know the entrance's location." Zhang Li immediately objected. "No way. If you feel it's dangerous, you can go back first. But if you agree to follow me, then don't worry. I'm here. I'll protect you." Hearing this, a sense of security washed over Shu Wei. "Okay, I'll do my best. If it gets really dangerous, I'll buy you some time." The two entered once again. Inside. "You have entered the Dark Altar hidden instance dungeon. Stop the ritual of the Shadow Mage Garu." "A dark mage, huh? That means there's a chance he'll drop mage-related equipment." Zhang Li's mood instantly brightened and he let out a whoop of excitement. "Woohoo, we're here!" But as he ran, his eyes caught something strange and he abruptly pulled Shu Wei to hide. In a corner. "Quick, get down!" The girl, startled by his sudden action, was terrified. "What in the world is going on?" He said, "Look over there. It's a level 20 skeleton knight standing guard." Zhang Li said, "Just as I thought, this dungeon is no joke, even Ishfal. The mobs are level 20. Looks like clearing this dungeon won't be easy." But while the two of them were still looking ahead, a group of skeleton knights had already rushed up from behind, shouting, "Outsiders, what are you eavesdropping on? Die!" Then they charged towards him with their deathly claws. Zhang Li thought to himself, "Good thing these skeletons aren't too bright." They didn't attack head-on, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to react. Let's try this new skill. Zhongli pressed both his hands down. Swamp Jutsu, a D-rank basic skill, creates a swamp with a 100-foot radius in front of the caster. Enemies entering the swamp will be ensnared, their movement speed reduced by 90%, lasting for 4 seconds. 6 seconds. Cooldown 8 seconds. The ground began to turn into a treacherous quagmire, making movement difficult. The charging knights, advancing towards him, were immediately halted. They then toppled over as the ground sank beneath them, causing them to lose their footing. Zhongli seized the opportunity, conjuring a fireball and hurling it at the knights. It was an instant kill. After finishing them off, the young man thought to himself, so the area of effect for a max-level swamp jutsu is this huge. When I'm up against multiple enemies, I won't need to use delay anymore. But just as the two were celebrating, they heard cries for help from a distance. Both of them turned their heads. Shuei said, "Is someone fighting a boss? Looks like other people are here to bother the dark mage." He said, "Wait. For a moment, I'm going to check it out." Over in that direction, 3 people were surrounded by a horde of skeleton knights. "Miss, hurry and use the, teleportation talisman," King Cheng said fearfully, "but we haven't even defeated a single mob yet." The man in armor yelled, "Never mind about that, your safety is what's most important. Miss." Before he could finish his sentence, a skeleton knight started to charge, aiming its sword for a deadly thrust. "It's over. We're done for this time," but just as the monster drew near, Zhongli arrived in the nick of time. He stepped forward, held out his hand, and used light armor jutsu to create a shield, preventing the knight from breaking through his defense. When Mo Qingcheng saw Zhongli, she was startled and recognized him. Li," one of the guards spoke up. "Zhongli from Jincheng Academy. I remember he's in the same grade as you, miss. Didn't he just awaken his powers a few days ago?" Then he turned and yelled at Zhongli, "Hey kid, these monsters aren't something that a newbie class like yours can handle. We can't be responsible for your life." Zhongli smiled. "I appreciate the concern, but there's no need for you to worry." He then unleashed a fireball towards the skeleton knights. The fireball soared towards them, and the monsters were instantly wiped out in a single hit. A stream of notifications chimed. "Experience, plus 40 experience, plus 40 experience, plus 40 experience." After wiping out the mobs, Zhongli snapped his fingers with a flourish. And that's that. A notification chimed. "Leveled up. Current level 17." Seeing Zhongli one-shot the mobs, Qingcheng's companions couldn't believe their eyes. He took care of them in a single move. She watched in utter amazement. "He's so strong." The guard with Qingcheng stammered, That level of skill, we could have done that too. Stop being such a busybody." Fentun, who had a good impression of Zhongli from before, came up to talk. "Is it really you? I really wasn't mistaken about you." Zhongli turned his head and said, "Do I know you?" Before he recalled, I remember now. You're Mo Qingcheng, the genius girl on par with Li Muyuan. Are you here to level up too? The difficulty of this dungeon is pretty high, so be careful." Hearing Zhongli, one of the guards got mad. "Don't get cocky, kid. Those monsters just now were already beaten by us until they were crippled. You just finished off what was left. We're Black Iron rank elites, you know. We don't need your concern." Zhongli couldn't be bothered to argue with them. "If there's nothing else, I'll be going now." He thought to himself that people who struggle this much with small fry monsters probably don't have what it takes to contest the boss with me. But surprisingly, just as he was about to leave, Thantun called out his name. "Wait, classmate Zhongli, you probably haven't reached the Black Iron rank yet, right?" Zhongli turned back and replied, "That's right, but I'm already level 17 now. It probably won't take much longer." Hearing this, she was even more startled, her heart racing as she thought, "It's only been a few days and he's already level 17. Plus with this kind of strength, how did he manage it?" Then she took a deep breath. I have a request. Could you carry me through this dungeon? The payment will be this Black Iron rank-up gem. I think you might need it." As she held a gem out in her hand, Zhongli couldn't resist looking, his eyes fixated on one spot as his face grew a little warm. "That, necklace? Is it a storage item? It must be really valuable, huh?" Seeing Zhongli staring intently without blinking made her even more shy. She turned away bashfully, covering her chest. Could you please not stare like that? To rank Satai up to the Black Iron rank, you either have to pass the Black Iron trial or directly use a rank-up gem. The number of these gems, it is extremely rare and they're incredibly expensive. Zhongli hadn't initially planned on using one, but at his current leveling speed, He could hit level 20 before even clearing the dungeon. If he doesn't rank up to Black Iron, he won't be able to level up any further. All the excess experience would go to waste. So Jiang Li immediately agreed, deal, but first you have to make them get to be out. I don't want a bunch of people tagging along to leech XP. The accompanying guard became furious. What did you say? Don't get so cocky. The woman with them also chimed in, young miss, we can't let you go with this guy. In truth, she was. Tetum thinking, if word of this gets out, how can we keep our jobs as bodyguards? Thenthan turned and retorted, it's too boring with you all, get out, that's my command. The accompanying guard still refused to give up and stepped closer to Jiang Li. Since the young miss is being so stubborn, at the very least you have to let us test this guy's strength first. Then he raised his sword toward Jiang Li, unleashing an attack. Let's see what you've got. Jiang Li smirked. If you really want to try me then, I won't be polite. Jiang Li summoned a fireball in his hand. My fireball is a bit on the large side, you'll have to bear with me for a moment. Okay. The armored guard stared completely stunned. Is that really a low-level mage? How can he possibly create a fireball of that, size? The orb continued to expand, threatening to engulf the entire place. Tears streamed down the guard's face. I'm done for, I'm really done for. But just as the fireball reached him, Jiang Li made it vanish right before his eyes. Forget it. Let's just stop here. If you all still want to follow, me then, I won't stop you. The guards knew how to read the room and quickly changed their tune. Haha, friend. Jiang, your strength isn't half bad. Even if you're a little weaker than us, clearing a dungeon like this should be no problem at all. Thinking about Jiang Li, they secretly thought how lucky it was he didn't act otherwise. Their two pathetic lives would have been lost. The two immediately bowed to bid farewell to the young miss. Well then, we'll take our leave. Please take care. Just like that, Jiang Li turned back to find Shu Wei. Shu Wei ran over and hugged his arm. Jiang Li, I've been waiting for you for so long. Can you take me with you next time? I was so scared. Jiang Li sighed. I'm exhausted. Seeing Shu Wei being so intimate, Qing Qing's heart also felt a bit of indescribable sadness. What is their relationship? I've never heard that Jiang Li had a girlfriend. Then she turned and tried to start a conversation, but she didn't know how to address her. I'm Mo Qing Qing, his classmate. Shu Wei scratched her head and replied, oh, just call me Shu Wei. Qing Qing thought to herself, it seems they're quite close. But she was determined to squeeze in between the two of them. Oh, right, Jiang Li, there's something I want to ask. I heard your awakening didn't go very smoothly, right? Jiang Li replied, yeah, I'm just a common mage, but you don't necessarily need a special class or anything to become stronger. Then he turned and smiled. I have my own ways. A moment later, Jiang Li used the light body technique to move at high speed, dodging explosions while fighting mobs. Experience continuously increased by 40. A notification announced a skill had leveled up by 1 level. Current level 18. Meanwhile, the two girls were hiding behind a bush chatting. Was he always like this before? Yeah, I was scared to death at first too. Qing Qing thought to herself, it seems the skills Jiang Li uses are all basic level, but why is their power so immense? After a battle with the small mobs, a level 27 boss, the Skull Knight Commander, began to appear. Jiang Li looked at it as if he were seeing a pile of experience points. Oh, so this dungeon still has another boss. After that, the young man condensed a mudball spell. The ground beneath the boss's feet suddenly seemed to sink into a quagmire. It doesn't matter how many of you there are. As long as I use control skills on you skull mobs, you won't be able to pose a threat to me. But unexpectedly, the boss suddenly raised its head, creating a black smoke that formed into the shape of a horse and charged straight at Jiang Li. Jiang Li noticed its eyes had become different. Then he was hit head-on and sent flying straight into the bushes ahead. The two girls jumped in shock and shouted, Jiang Li! The control duration ended and these things once again stood up and started walking. We're done for this time. Then Shu Wei reminded Qing Qing, you go save Jiang Li, I'll draw their attention. As seeing Shu Wei's decisive actions, Qing Qing thought, she's clearly so scared and yet... But suddenly, a voice came from Jiang Li's direction. No need! It was accompanied by an ice arrow that shot out and hit the boss in the head. Seeing him stand up, Qing Qing walked over and asked, Jiang Li, are you okay? Jiang Li thought to himself, good thing the light body technique hadn't ended yet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten off with just this injury. I can't believe that thing still had a long-range attack method. Shu Wei ran over and used heal. Let me help you heal. Seeing the knights charging once again to attack the three of them, Qing Qing used a brilliant holy light blessing. Bless allies cast shadows to cover the enemy. Damage multiplied. A layer of holy light appeared in the sky, striking directly down on the skeleton knights. Taking this opportunity, Jiang Li used an AoE magic attack. Got it. After hearing her, he also used his lightning skill, aiming a lightning ball straight at the boss and the mobs paralyzing them. This time, even Zhongli couldn't believe how high the damage was. Shu Wei covered her mouth. This was the Holy Light Blessing. She then explained to Zhongli that this blessing could make surrounding allies' attacks deal holy attribute damage and, moreover, make enemies more vulnerable and blind them. At that moment, the damage dealt by allies would instantly multiply. But to be able to use a skill like this proves that Miss Mo's class is a damage booster, vulnerability inducer, and blinder. Damn, that's so OP, isn't it? Fen Tun's class is a special one, Divine Priest. After Zhongli's attack, the boss was finally released from its paralysis. Its body still trembling, it slowly got back up. This time he took the initiative and said to the two women, "Fen Tun used that blessing from before again. Alright, and Shu Wei support me from the rear so I can boost my magic damage for you." Careful, it's charging at us. The boss rushed forward at incredible speed, practically flying toward Zhongli, preparing to bring its club down. But just then, Thanthan activated her skill. You wish! A torrent of holy light appeared in the sky, causing the boss to feel an oppressive pressure. It then opened its eyes, but it could no longer see any trace of the group. Don't bother looking. The familiar voice of Zhongli echoed from behind it. I'm over here. He then activated his skill, concentrating energy into his foot, and unleashed a kick that blasted straight through the skeleton's body, leaving a massive hole. Zhongli landed confident after finishing it off, saying done. A notification popped up, leveled up by 2 levels. Current level 20. Congratulations, you have obtained a C-rank skill book. Bone Spear Technique. Description. Fires a bone spear. Whichever part it hits will be weakened, becoming a weak point. If it's already a weak point, the effect will be amplified. Zhongli sighed. Just a C-rank skill, huh? A shame, my skill bar is already full. I'll have to figure out what to replace. Shu Wei also leveled up to 22, and Thanthan's current level was 29. Zhongli muttered, only Black Iron rank mages can learn these skills. Right now I can only try to think. While the young man was still lost in thought, Thanthan approached him and asked, What is it, Zhongli? She then took out the orb and handed it to him. Take it and use it. Think of it as payment in advance. If you get stronger, it'll make clearing dungeons easier. Besides, you don't want to waste the experience you'll gain later, do you? She added, blushing shyly. And also, from now on you can call me Thanthan. Oh, without a second thought, Zhongli took her hand. Alright, I'll owe you one for this. In the future, I will definitely repay you tenfold. Feeling him hold her hand, her heart fluttered and a warm flush spread through her entire body. Meanwhile, outside the dungeon, what you left the young miss alone inside the dungeon. At the entrance to the Stormy Plains dungeon, an angry voice erupted. Are your heads full of water? A subordinate bowed and reported that Zhongli, although he's a novice, he seems really strong. There probably won't be a problem. A novice? What nonsense are you spouting, Uncle Fu? Quick look. Something doesn't look right. The uncle finally raised his head, his eyes filled with a growing fear as a series of notifications flashed. An unknown incident has occurred in the Black Iron rank difficult dungeon, the Dark Shrine. The difficulty has been elevated to Abyss rank. Warning, forcible exit from the dungeon is now impossible. A worried Uncle Fu immediately gave an order. The young miss is in danger. Quick, assemble all family elites level 25 and under. Follow me to rescue the young miss. The stout man following him immediately hurried. The scene shifts. Inside the dungeon, the group also felt a massive disturbance but had no idea what had happened. Zhang Li was using the concentration gem for a breakthrough when suddenly a massive foot stepped forward. So you're the intruder? Are you to be able to annihilate my underlings is quite praiseworthy, but what a pity all of you will meet your end here. At a status window appeared level 30 boss Garu the Dark Mage. Seeing this, Thanthan's face paled. The dungeon boss had actively sought out the intruders. She glanced back at Zhang Li. Zhang Li is still breaking through. If we forcibly interrupt him, his body might explode and he'll die. I have to think of a way to stall for time. Right at that moment, Uncle Fuck appeared, shouting loudly, Young miss, we've arrived! Hearing the familiar voice, she smiled with relief. Uncle Fuck? Then, a group of people started to surround the boss. You have backup. You're all just a bunch of annoyances. The boss began to gather energy for a skill. Rock Spike. Spikes erupted from the ground across a wide area, catching those who weren't prepared off guard and severely injuring them one after another. One of the men sneered confidently, You're a high level, but is that all you can do? Suddenly, the silhouette of a colossal boss descended from the heavens, swooping past that man. What? With its immense weight, it caused the ground to shake and collapse into a deep pit. A system notification popped up, level unknown demon lord boss Havai. The boss growled, Who is it that summons me? The group began to panic in terror at the sight. An abyss demon, the boss. Garu the Dark Mage addressed the Demon Lord. Great Demon Lord, it was this lowly one who summoned you. These intruders are all sacrificial offerings from your humble servant. Just this handful, they're barely enough for a toothpick. The men looked on, their bodies paralyzed by the terror it radiated. We're done for. We're so screwed. We're going to die here for sure. At this moment of despair, Jiang Li reappeared asking point blank, who wants to be the offering, huh? By now, Jiang Li had also successfully achieved his promotion. He had advanced to the Black Iron rank, gaining Skill Cast +1, allowing him to unleash 2 skills at once. Jiang Li resolutely declared to everyone, don't despair. Don't let fear paralyze us and make us forget to fight back. He then began to channel an attack, his Bone Spear skill, and a smirk played on his lips. Let's see who comes out on top. Seeing Jiang Li's confidence, Uncle Fuck thought to himself, Bone Spear. But that's an abyss demon. What can a single Black Iron rank mage possibly do? Just like that, the volleys of Jiang Li's Bone Spear skill flew towards the demon. It instinctively raised its hand to block the attack, but the skill managed to injure it. You're seeking death, it bellowed. Uncle Fuck watched in utter shock and amazement. That Bone Spear skill actually managed to hurt it. Who in the world is this kid? But I fear it's still not enough. It looks like this old man today will have to put this old life on the line. Uncle Fuck bravely stepped up to the front, commanding the others. Everyone charge. We swear that even if it costs us our lives, we will ensure the young miss's safety. The mages all cast Fireball, bombarding the boss from every direction. Then Uncle Fuck turned to Jiang Li and said, Young man, get our young miss out of here to safety. We're entrusting her to you. And with that, his fighting spirit blazing, he strode toward the boss. The Demon Lord arrogantly scoffed, a swarm of insects. Then, it charged a skill in its mouth, aiming it at the group. A powerful blast shot directly toward them. At that moment, Uncle Fuck also activated his defensive stance, raising his sword to block the boss's incoming skill. Fortunately, the skill he managed to block the attack, but his body was already showing signs of fatigue. At this point, Uncle Fuck could only make a desperate gamble. Damn demon! He then charged swiftly toward the boss. This was his ultimate move. If it couldn't destroy the demon, then it would at least have to buy time for the young lady. He leaped high into the air, unleashing the Sword of Judgment. But as he descended, the boss effortlessly caught the blade between 2 fingers, then grabbed his body with its other hand. Uncle Fuck's body. Is this all the strength you possess? It then slammed him violently into the ground. Thanthen, watching from a distance, cried out in worry as tears streamed down her face. Uncle Fuck! But Jiang Li held her back. The demon stepped toward Fuck, raising its foot, preparing to crush him. It growled, truly you don't know your place. In that desperate moment, the old man, Meg, still mustered his strength to protect the young lady. Miss, run! Suddenly, an ice arrow from Jiang Li then flew in and pierced straight through the demon's wing, leaving it utterly shocked. Fuck seized the perfect opportunity that Jiang Li had created, slashing his sword across the demon's leg and causing it to topple backward. Uncle Fuck used this chance to escape. The Demon Lord, was filled with fury from the sneak attack. Who dares? Jiang Li aimed another arrow at it, calling out a warning. Uncle Fuck, leave this big boss to me. You all need to heal quickly. With an injured face, Uncle Fuck looked worriedly toward Jiang Li. Young man, didn't I tell you to get our young lady out of here? Why are you still here? Let us handle this. But Jiang Li refused. No need, I've already found a way to injure it. Hearing this, Fuck thought, he's clearly just Black Iron rank. Yeah. Yet he can use 2 different types of magic at the same time. Could he be using a 2-skill combination to produce a completely new effect? The Demon Lord slowly rose to its feet, roaring, I will never forgive you. It lunged at Jiang Li, slamming its claws into the ground, but Jiang Li had already anticipated the move and dodged. He dodged to the side, leaped high into the air, and fired an ice arrow down at the nape of its neck. He taunted, the wings are the main weakness of you demons. Am I right? Losing your wings is the same as losing your mana. Now you can no longer use magic anymore. The demon was shocked. How are his movements so fast? It then retorted to Jiang Li, how did you know that? Jiang Li explained, the abyss demons are humanity's greatest enemy. To prevent your kind from descending upon our world, and wreaking havoc, the Academy taught us numerous methods to counter you. Now it's time for you to pay. Jiang Li thought to himself, a demon's heart is located in a random place. Even though I've sealed its magic, I can only rely on luck. The Dark Mage Garu shouted at Jiang Li, don't get too arrogant. A minor wound like this is nothing to our master. Besides, his regenerative powers are immense. He'll be back to his original state in no time. The demon. And Lord heard this and turned to look at the dark mage. I can't wait any longer. It then grabbed the mage in its hand. Sensing his impending doom, the mage immediately screamed, "Master, spare me!" But the scene that followed left everyone, and staring in utter disbelief. The demon opened its gigantic maw and swallowed the dark mage whole. The moment it did, its body surged with vitality and began to transform. The wing he had destroyed started to regenerate. "Human, you have angered?" Mapu, it roared. A notification popped up, Demon Lord Phase 2, extremely dangerous. It then exhaled a beam of dark energy. The dark energy aimed straight for Zhang Li, but with his speed, Zhang Li dodged it with ease, thinking about his lightness technique. My max level technique can ensure I don't get taken out, but there's no way to counterattack. Even with my light armor art now, I can't block it. But while he was thinking, Zhang Li suddenly received a notification, received the effect of Blessing Force. Magic attack increased by 100%. Received the effect of Fairos. Magic attack increased by 200%. It turned out that everyone had united channeling all their buffs toward Zhang Li. Because he received the effect of the life blessing, his mana was slowly recovering. Seeing the aura on Zhang Li, the boss immediately turned its head to look towards his life. His mana was slowly recovering. Seeing the aura on Zhang Li, the boss immediately turned its head to look towards the group that was supporting him. It then turned back, and with a skill in its palm, a cluster of obstacles appeared. Zhang Li, seeing the situation, immediately grew worried. This is bad. He decided to return to protect the group as the boss's orb was also launched. Out. Zhang Li used a 300% speed boost, flashing back to protect the group. A notification panel appeared. Defense power increased by 200%. Corresponding shield skill increased by 200%. Zhang Li didn't hesitate to use his light armor art just before the orb flew in. Just like that, an explosion was unleashed, shaking the entire area. But the boss's eyes also sensed something different. Around it, its body was also sinking into a mud pit. It tried to lift its legs to escape, but from within the shield, a voice rang out, "Don't move." The boss also received a notification, "Paralyzed, movement restricted." This is, what kind of strange technique? Zhang Li replied. "Next, I'll let you taste something even more powerful." Then he struck with layers of lightning down into the mud pit, trapping its legs, combining the swamp lightning combo electro art plus mud swamp art. This time, its entire body was numb and couldn't move. Zhang Li, anyone with buff items use buff magic. Everyone, let's help him. Right now, only he can, save us. Very quickly, a series of notifications appeared. Due to the effect of the blessing magic attack power, increased by 600%, then 700%, then 100,000%. The boss also began to condense an orb in its mouth. And yet, you dare to proactively come here and attack me? How foolish. It immediately fired towards Zhang Li, but he also launched his skill. In the opposite direction, the two skills clashed. Zhang Li's skill was stronger, splitting the other into two halves. Watching, it continued flying towards the boss. The boss raised its hand to block. But unexpectedly, Zhang Li's skill actually split apart into many small fragments, piercing in every direction. It used its hand to block them. Zhang Li spoke in a challenging tone. "You seem very focused on protecting your head. Is there something important there?" The boss grew angry. So what if I let you know?" But at that moment, Zhang Li's bone fragments began to shatter, creating fiery sparks, and exploded right in front of it. Zhang Li's skills had combined into the explosive bandit bone spear, using bone spear art plus fireball art. Zhang Li, seeing the perfect opportunity, immediately threw in his ice skill as a bonus. Now's the time. Ice arrows shot straight into the cloud of smoke and dust. Its miserable screams echoed continuously. The people outside watched expectantly, waiting for the result. "It's over." But as the smoke cleared, its sharp gaze appeared again. "Ah, what a pity, what a pity." It stepped out, with a few ice shards stuck in its palm. "Was that the only chance you had to defeat me? You still haven't recovered." Along with a few ice shards piercing your palm, was that your only chance to defeat me? You still haven't recovered. What have you done to me? Zhang Li let out a cunning laugh. "Ha ha ha, it's just a simple delay tactic." The boss roared in fury. "You despicable pest. You think a petty trick like this can stop me?" Zhang Li sneered in reply. "Oh, you didn't think, that I was only going to shoot a few arrows, did you?" Just then a storm of arrows materialized behind it, piercing straight through its body. How is this possible? And just like that, its body dissipated, unable to regenerate. Zhang Li waved his hand in celebration. Problem solved. A notification popped up, level increased by 5 levels, current level 25. Everyone cheered in unison. "Hooray, that's great, it's finally over." The others in the party also gained 2 levels. Old Fu, Ko, thought to himself, this young man is already this powerful. In the future, he's bound to become a world-shaking top-tier powerhouse. I have to do my best to build a good relationship with him now. Meanwhile, a thought crossed Zhongli's mind. Logically speaking, not every mage who reaches the Black Iron rank can use 2 types of magic at the same time. Could it be that because all my skills have reached their max level, I've awakened a special ability? The 2 bodyguards who had been protecting the young miss tried to act tough in front of Zhongli. With that many buffs stacked on one person, if I didn't have any injuries, I'm not so sure I couldn't have gone toe-to-toe with that demon. As soon as one finished, the other chimed in, That's right. That's right, Ching Ching approached with a radiant smile. Don't listen to that nonsense from those bodyguards. She continued to express, her admiration. We were so lucky to have Zhongli this time. The young man looked straight at Shu Wei and Ching Ching and asked, By the way, after this dungeon run is over, Shula, what are your plans? Shu Wei stated firmly, I feel like my skills are still lacking and I'm afraid I'll just drag Zhongli down. I want to train in some low-level zones first. Once I get stronger, we can tackle dungeons together, okay? King said shyly to Zhongli. Next time, I'd still like to party up with you. While Zhongli's face was a giant, Chu Fu stepped forward to explain, what the young miss means is that she would like to invite you to her home for a visit. Zhongli had scratched his head shyly. Well, since you put it that way, I'll definitely be there. At this point, everyone gathered around. The items dropped from the dungeon. Uncle Fu enthusiastically gestured with open hands. Let's go check out the loot that demon was defeated by you single-handedly, so all this loot should belong to you. Zhongli's eyes quickly fell upon a dark staff, quality silver, requires level 25 or higher, and a demon's cloak, quality gold, which comes with the skill Demon's Eye, which can reveal any stealthed units below the silver rank, requires a level above. Amo 25. Zhongli held it, clicking his tongue in amazement. You'd be hard-pressed to find items like this in all of Golden City. With this gear, I won't have to worry about getting ambushed anymore. Next up is the Abyss Pass, first floor, a special quality item. Attribute, used to enter the first floor of the Abyss, requires at least silver rank strength. Next is an Abyss Stone, a gold quality item. Attribute can be socketed into equipment to imbue it with the power of the Abyss. Has a high probability of upgrading. Equipment of silver quality or lower to gold quality. From afar, Uncle Fu looked astonished. A gemstone? This is a great find. Normal gemstones can turn stone to gold, trash to treasure, but this one can directly upgrade equipment to gold rank. It's truly the cream of the crop. We just need to find a skilled blacksmith on Blue Star to... Besides combat-focused classes, there are also many specialized life skill classes, for instance, such as chefs, pharmacists, and blacksmiths. Although they can't fight monsters directly, they are indispensable support personnel for the human faction. Uncle Fu told Zhang Lai, I heard Manager Lin of the Golden Dragon Pavilion knows the best blacksmith in all of Golden City. You could go try your luck. Zhang Li replied, Thank you for the information, Senior. I was also planning a trip to the Golden Dragon Pavilion. Afterward, Zhang Li packed everything and prepared to leave. Well then, I'll see you later. Scene changed to Rosetown at the Golden Dragon Pavilion. Zhang Li looked around the room. Is this the Golden Dragon Pavilion's VIP room? I wonder how much all these decorations cost. Soon, a man approached and introduced himself from a distance. A distinguished guest has arrived. Lin apologized for not greeting you from afar. Zhang Li, sitting calmly on the couch, slowly replied, Manager Lin, you're too polite. I came here this time to sell some equipment. After some appraisal, Manager Lin concluded, for the 6 pieces of bronze-grade equipment, 3 pieces of gear under level 20, and the black iron-grade items, I can offer you a total. As for the Shadow Stealth skill book and this silver-grade Swiftwind bow, to be honest, I can't give an estimated price at the moment. It would be best to trade them for other items. The female receptionist saw the pile of equipment so stunned she was speechless. This is the first time I've ever seen such a huge transaction. Zhang Li said, Thank you, Manager Lin. In that case, please list the items I can trade for. If there are any skill books or equipment suitable for a mage, let's use them to trade for these 2 items. Oh, right. I also need 1 bronze tier upgrade gem. Just deduct the cost from my total. Certainly, please wait a moment. He then waved his hand at the receptionist, signaling her to handle the procedures. Afterward, he and Zhang Lai sat down to talk. Manager Lin said to Zhang Li, I still don't know what I should call you, sir. Zhang Li replied, You can just call me Zhang Lai. He took a sip of tea and laughed. Ha ha, so that's how it is. To reach this level just 2 days after awakening, that's truly unheard of in Golden City. Zhang Li was a bit surprised that he could figure that out. How did you know? Manager Lin replied. The Golden Dragon Pavilion's internal intelligence network is quite thorough. With enough money you can get any information. Zhang Li asked seriously. Since that's the case, Manager Lin, could you find a blacksmith for me? I have a gem here that needs to be socketed. Manager Lin replied, Oh, I happen to know a master craftsman. At that moment, the receptionist also came over and handed Zhang Li a book. Excuse me, sir, this is our item trade list for you to look over. Because the value of your sale this time meets our membership standard, the Golden Dragon Pavilion would also like to gift you a Golden Dragon card. From now on, all your expenditures at the Golden Dragon Pavilion will receive a 10% discount. And this is the bronze tier upgrade gem you wanted, including the discount. Before she could finish, Manager Lin slammed his hand on the table. This gem, I'll give it to you for 16 million. Consider it a gesture of friendship. Hearing this, Zhang Li broke into a cold sweat. He took the item and thought to himself, I remember the market price for a bronze tier upgrade gem is 20 million. For my past self, that was an unattainable luxury. Even now with the Golden Dragon card's discount, it would still cost 18 million. Manager Lin's one sentence just saved me another 2 million. It seems I should build a good relationship with him. Immediately after, Zhang Li laughed and said with twice the enthusiasm, Haha, in that case, thanks, Brother Lam. From now on, if this little brother needs anything done, you'll absolutely be the first person I think of. Lam laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, that couldn't be better. By the way, about the gold grade master blacksmith of Golden City, Master Wang Yun, he happens to be in the area recently. You can go look for him at Wenxiang Garden in the east. Just say I sent you. Zhang Li stood up and shook his hand. Many thanks, Brother Lam. As for the intel fee, just charge me according to your usual rates. The next day, Zhang Li stood outside the entrance of Wenxiang Garden. A few men at the gate shouted, The master has given an order. No one is allowed to enter. Zhang Li presented the stone and said, I have a piece of equipment and would like to ask Master Wang Yun to help me socket a gem. Manager Lam from the Golden Dragon Treasure Pavilion sent me. Please inform him. The people inside also heard Zhang Li's words and immediately relayed the message. Zhang Li went inside. Master Wang Yun asked, So you're Zhang Li? Ha ha, I didn't expect that old fox Lam Dai Fu to recommend someone to me. Zhang Li showed a respectful attitude. I've heard that Master Wang is the best blacksmith in Golden City. Seeing you today, it's clear your reputation is well deserved. Wang Yun scratched his head. All right, enough with the flattery. What kind of gem do you want to socket? He then took the stone Zhang Li handed him. Oh, a black gold-grade gem, kid. Even gold-grade blacksmiths rarely get to touch gold-grade equipment and items. You've got some skills. However, the probability of failure for a direct socketing is very high. You must be prepared to accept it if it fails. He then continued, How about we make a deal? I have a masterpiece that's almost complete, but I'm missing one crucial material, the tooth of a thunder crocodile chieftain. That material will not only help me finish my work, but it will also increase the success rate of the gem socketing. Zhang Li looked puzzled. So, Master, you want me to find the material? He shook his head. Not exactly. The thunder crocodile chieftain is extremely cunning. It hides deep within the thunderclap swamp, but if it encounters a high-level class user above Black Iron, it won't be able to escape. If you can't find it, I won't force you. Zhang Li glanced over. Increase the socketing success rate. Then of course I want to give it a try. I'll set out right now. Master, just wait here for my good news. As Zhang Li was on his way, a group of people suddenly blocked his path and asked, Hey kid, have you seen a young man about 25 years old around 1.8 with triangular eyes and whose class is warrior? Zhang Li recalled the person he had killed earlier. Is he talking about that guy? But Zhang Li denied it, no, and tried to continue on, but the man blocked him again. Wait, the person I just mentioned has been killed. The clues clearly point to a mage. You're a mage, right? If you're hiding something, the Bloodwolf Mercenary Guild will show you what cruelty is. Zhang Li looked up. No means no, and he just walked straight past them. This infuriated the man. An arrogant brat. He needs to be taught a lesson. Zhang Li walked by and overheard two people talking. The guy from just now is Chen Dong, the vice captain of the Bloodwolf Mercenary Guild. I heard their captain's youngest son was murdered. The state of his body was gruesome. For a long time now, the Bloodwolf Mercenary Guild has always been tyrannical. I think sooner or later, they'll get what's coming to them. The person he was talking to got scared and immediately covered his mouth. Shh, do you have a death wish there, Captain? I'm a high-tier bronze class, you know. There are quite a few bronze-class professionals in our mercenary guild, and if they hear about this, you won't have a moment of peace. Zhang Lai, listening to the whole story, realized he had just poked the hornet's nest. In the Thunder Marsh, Zhang Li showed no mercy. He unleashed his skill, aiming a fireball in that direction. He fired relentlessly, wiping out the mobs in this small area. Zhang Li clicked his tongue, as expected of a black iron tier magic with such a large area of effect. Its monster clearing rate was much higher than electric arc, but suddenly, Zhang Li sensed a rustle in the bushes behind him. Was someone following him? Zhang Li activated his demon's eye to spot any stealthed individuals. Just as he suspected, there were assassins. Let's see what you're planning. As he was thinking, the water in the lake below began to churn violently, and a level 29 green-patterned Serpent King emerged. Zhang Lai looked on disappointed. Isn't this supposed to be the Thunder Crocodile Chieftain? Guess they're not that easy to find. The Serpent King didn't hesitate, its jaws snapping as if to devour Zhang Lai. But Zhang Li effortlessly dodged its strike. Seeing this, the assassins began to draw their weapons. Zhang Li was done playing games with this crew. He immediately looked toward where the assassins were hiding. Stop hiding! Come on out! Seeing that they'd been discovered, they revealed themselves. Ha ha ha! We finally found you, you little brat! Oh! And there's an elite monster too. What a double blessing. You dared to harm our guildmaster's son. That's unforgivable. Zhang Li turned and asked the man Tran Dong, "Do you have any proof?" Tran Dong shot Zhang Li a defiant look. "Who said I need proof when you messed with me? If I say you harmed him, then you did." Zhang Li began to condense ice arrows. Oh, what a coincidence. The serpent behind him was waiting for an opportunity, preparing to land a sneak attack on Zhang Li's back. Zhang Li immediately maneuvered the arrows, insta-killing the serpent. Just like that, the serpent was vaporized right before their eyes. The terrified men whispered to each other. What just happened? He took down a level 29 elite monster in the blink of an eye. Only then did Zhang Li speak again. You're right, I was the one who took care of him. But unfortunately, I'm afraid you'll have to keep that secret forever. Then Zhang Li summoned another fireball in his hand and without hesitation hurled it directly at the group. Tran Dong, having the highest HP, survived and scrambled to escape, thinking in agony, "It's over. If this keeps up, I'm a dead man." He quickly dropped to his knees and begged, Big brother, it's our fault for being blind and not recognizing a master. We'll give you everything we have, big brother. It can fetch a pretty penny. Please spare us and show us a way out." Though his words were subservient, he was secretly cursing in his mind, "Damn it, how is this kid so freaking strong? He just admitted he was the one who harmed him. I have to get back and report to the guildmaster fast." After listening, Zhang Li's killing intent still blazed. "Oh, and where did you get all this stuff?" Tran Dong didn't dare to spout nonsense and answered immediately. "We got it from a silver tier couple before. Their family offered a lot of benefits for their return, but the man kept resisting, so we took care of him. This bronze tier uniform I'm wearing was his." As for the woman, even with a baby, she was still a beauty. It's just a shame. She chose death over submission, so she ended up following her husband. Hearing this, Zhang Li's expression became utterly furious as he struggled to contain his rage. In his heart, "Just as I thought, you all deserve to die." Scene change. At the Golden Dragon Pavilion, Manager Lum receives a phone call. At your service." Instantly, an image of Zhang Li appears on the screen above. "Lum, it's me." "Ah, so it's..." "Young Master Jiang, is the inlaid jade job still going okay?" Zhang Li replies hesitantly. "Yes, it's fine, but I'm calling about a different matter this time." "Manager Lum, could you help me investigate the Blood Wolf mercenary group? The fee will be the same as always." The sooner the better. Manager Lum hears this and asks again, "What was that you said? The Blood Wolf mercenary group? Understood? All right, give me a moment. I'll assign someone to investigate for you." As he spoke, he wiped the sweat from his forehead. "Young Master Jiang, whatever conflict you have with that mercenary group, you absolutely must not act rashly." At this point, Zhang Li tells him the truth. "A little while ago, I, was ambushed by them. Fortunately, my skills were up to the task and I've already taken care of it. I believe their leader was named Tran Dong." At this, Manager Lum adds, "I know a bit about him. He's likely the vice captain of the Blood Wolf mercenary group. If I recall correctly, he's a bronze rank professional. I can't believe he was defeated by you, but they will absolutely not let this slide. What do you, sound plan to do next?" Zhang Li replies, "I've heard the strongest person in their unit isn't at the peak of bronze rank, so I'm confident I can handle them. I'm just worried it will implicate your people, which is why I want to make the first move." After hearing this, Manager Lum bursts out laughing. "Ha ha, young Master Jiang, you really are a man of honor. Regarding the Blood Wolf mercenary group, Besides Trandung, they have 6 other bronze rank professionals. The rest of the members are all black iron rank and above. Normally, they rarely operated separately. Trandung came here specifically to investigate the murder of the captain's youngest son, Epa. The captain. That's what gave you an opening. But even for you, young Master Jiang, dealing with that many, bronze rank professionals would be difficult, wouldn't it? Jiang Li replies, yes, that's true. Manager Lum continues, among them the one with the greatest strength is Captain Li Hyotin A, level 39 Greystone Knight. His specialty is defense. You absolutely cannot fight a battle of, attrition with him. But the news about Trandung hasn't gotten out yet. They should all still be located outside the Blackstone Mountain Range. Young Master Jiang, you still have some time. Jiang Li asks curiously, what are they doing there? Manager Lum explains. Initially, I thought they were there for a boss raid, but after some investigation, I found out they were commissioned by the Vung family. On a commission. Jiang Li is shocked. The Vung family as in one of the 4 great families of Golden City. But you don't need to worry, the relationship between, them is just a standard contractual relationship. Right now, the Bloodwolf mercenary group is not allied with any particular power. It seems the Vung family's eldest son, Vung Kim Nyam, awakened as a spirit beast tamer, so the family has spent a fortune commissioning mercenary groups to find an earth dragon egg. At this point, Manager Lum realizes he's gotten sidetracked. Damn it. Let's get back to the point. If you're set on confronting the Bloodwolf mercenary group, then I'd like to, offer a bit of help. How about this, come over to my place at the Golden Dragon Pavilion? Inside the fusion room, Manager Lum steps forward. To introduce it to Jiang Li. I'm sure you're proficient in many spells, but every person has a limited number of skill slots. So some lower-level spells are naturally discarded. That's why the Golden Dragon Pavilion created this room. Here you can fuse a mage's spells together. From that, you can obtain a completely new spell. However, the spells created through this fusion, fused skills cannot be fused a second time. This must be your first time here, huh? Try fusing Fireball and Arcane Bolt, the most basic spells. Jiang Li placed his hand on the magic book on the table and a line of information appeared. Reading spell. D-rank spell. Fireball confirmed. D-rank spell. Arcane Bolt confirmed. Proceeding with fusion. Congratulations, you have acquired a new skill, D-rank Chain Lightning Orb spell. After hearing this, Jiang Li found it hard to believe that he could actually use this method to create a new type of spell. Although he had combined the effects of 2 spells before, this could truly save a lot of skill slots. Jiang Li turned around. Thank you, Mr. Lam. The cost, for the information and the spell fusion is the equipment I just brought. If it's not enough, I'll add more. Also, I have another matter to ask about. To be honest, I need a gold rank socketing gem, but even Master Wang can't guarantee the socketing success rate. The master showed me a way. He said that the tooth of the lightning crocodile leader can increase the socketing success rate, but that boss is incredibly cunning. Half a day has passed and I haven't even seen its shadow. After hearing this, Trandong laughed. Haha, Jiang Li, I think I've already prepared what you need. He then held out his hand, signaling the receptionist to bring him the item he had prepared. There's a rumor that this bait can lure out the lightning crocodile leader. Initially, Master Wang asked me to find it, but then he broke through to gold rank. Even with, this bait, the boss probably wouldn't show itself for him now. Since he has entrusted this task to you, it's only fitting that this goes to you. Jiang Li didn't hesitate to take the bait from Mr. Lam's hand. It was truly a godsend. The fee for this bait. As Jiang Li started to speak, Manager Lam interrupted him. The equipment you brought earlier completely covers the cost. In fact, there's quite a bit left over. In that case, Jiang Li, I wish you success. Afterward, Jiang Li returned into the lightning swamp and threw the bait directly into the lake. He waited for a moment and bubbles from below began to rise. Just then, a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky, signaling the boss's appearance. Jiang Li smiled. Finally, you've appeared. A notification popped up, level 33 boss lightning crocodile leader. It then opened its massive jaws, as if preparing to charge an attack. Jiang Li got into a ready stance, prepared to use the swift body technique. He immediately leaped up to dodge. A black iron rank class would have a really hard time blocking this move. Jiang Li glanced down below. You're pretty good at picking your opponents, but unfortunately for you, you've run into me today. Jiang Li condensed his thorny ice skill. The boss also opened its mouth as if preparing to release a skill. Then, bolt of lightning struck down from the sky towards Jiang Li. Luckily, I activated the light armor technique just in time. That was dangerous. But it ends here. Then Zhang Li launched the ice arrows that had appeared in mid-air. Hama straight at the boss. He looked at the wound from the attack. It was just a light scratch. Tisk, this guy's armor is that tough. If an external attack doesn't work, then I'll attack from the inside. He timed it perfectly. On for when it started to open its mouth to cast a skill. A fireball appeared in Zhang Li's hand. He didn't hesitate to throw the fireball into the boss's mouth. Here's a big gift for you. Zhang Li activated the delay spell, causing its body seemed paralyzed, unable to move. Zhang Li slowly approached. Lightning will amplify the destructive power of fire. You didn't know that, Flame, but luckily you opened your mouth on your own, saving me a lot of trouble later. Zhang Li created a sharp ice spike behind his spear, splitting it in two with one move. A notification appeared. Log level increased by 2, current level 27. The ice arrow technique and the bone softening technique have fused to become ice spear technique. Not only does it have the weakening effect of the bone softening technique, but it also has the increased damage of the ice arrow technique. What's more, it's now just a single skill. Before I had to use both skills at the same time. It seems I can now think about fusing even more skills. Oh, but I forgot, how do I process this material? Should I just break its teeth out directly? The scene changes to Zhang Li returning to the blacksmith shop, waiting outside. So much time passed that Zhang Li fell into a deep sleep. Finally, the door creaked open. Kid, it's done? Hearing this, Zhang Li woke up and walked towards the master craftsman. How is it? The man replied confidently. Do you even need to ask? The fusion is absolutely perfect. Although your method of collecting the materials wasn't the best, what you brought back was still usable. At this moment, the staff's information displayed Abyssal Scepter, gold quality magic power plus 50. Attached skill, Demon's Seal, conjures a demonic seal to mark a target. The next magic spell will detonate the seal, causing 4 times the damage. Mana cost 100, cast time 0.5 seconds. Cooldown 60 seconds, requirement level 25 or higher. Class Mage. Zhang Li scratched his head in embarrassment. This is my first time collecting materials. But looking closely, the scepter's magic power had increased significantly, and it even came with an incredibly powerful skill. With this, everything was ready. But suddenly he received a call from Manager Lin. As soon as Zhang Li answered, the man said, Brother Jiang, I have something extremely important to tell you. We just received intel from our provider that the blood-crazed mercenary corps is preparing to attack the Earth Dragon's lair tomorrow. The detailed information has been sent. Oh, to you. Zhang Li was surprised. Oh, the Earth Dragon's lair. Thank you, Brother Lin. He thought to himself, the bold ones have appeared. It's time to get to work. The blood-crazed mercenary corps, huh? Outside the Blackstone mountain range at the encampment of the blood-crazed mercenary corps. Boss' third brother is dead. This red-haired man is the leader of the blood-crazed mercenary corps, Lai Q Thien. Trung Tret continued to report, the last message he sent me was that he had found the culprit who murdered Tu Kuang, but after he was killed, there was no further news. The opponent seems to be a young mage, Lai Q Thien said with anger contorting his face. A young mage, he really dares to look down on us. But for now, the prince's matter is more important. The prince's business can help me level up, to the silver rank. It won't be too late to get revenge then. Call the brothers. Gather all our forces immediately. Prepare to move out. Hearing the summons, all the members gathered there, standing before the leader's tent. At that moment, Zhang Li's figure was hidden behind a tree, eavesdropping on the situation. Zhang Li thought, so he's like you, Thien. Li Qiutin announced, brothers, after all our hard work for so many days, we have finally found it. We found the Earth Dragon's lair. Today is the best opportunity we've had in days to attack its nest. Recently, some brothers in our guild were murdered by the enemy, but rest assured, men, just wait until I ascend to a professional rank, a silver rank, and I will personally hunt down that enemy, flay his skin, and rip out his tendons. Not only him, but his relatives as well. One by one, they will all die horribly right before his eyes. I'll make them taste the most agonizing punishment in this world to show them why the Blood Frenzy mercenaries are called Blood Frenzy. I, Li Qiutin, absolutely will not let you brothers suffer even the slightest bit. He then raised his fist, and the men below him were somewhat comforted, becoming even more determined as they roared in unison, Long live the captain! All hail the captain! Zhang Li, listening from behind, thought to himself, first I'll just assess the situation. Once they enter the Earth Dragon's territory, I'll give them a surprise. Scene changed to the Earth Dragon's territory. The group had arrived and a giant Earth Dragon appeared. Haha, this form is truly intimidating. Li Qiutin raised his sword high, pointing it at the Earth Dragon. "Brothers, charge!" The men who rushed forward were met with an immediate roar from the Earth Dragon as if a warning. It then used its massive tail as a weapon, flinging away the charging men. The mages at the rear also launched their fireballs at it, while the assassins tried to circle around to its rear, relentlessly striking its hard shell with their dual daggers. The assassin saw that his blades were heavily chipped and was astonished. This beast is way too tough. He felt himself being struck by the Earth Dragon, and as he tried to strike it, immediately flung the assassin away. The Earth Dragon grew increasingly enraged and began to roar, activating its skill. The earth and rocks in the cave began to shake violently. One unlucky man was crushed by a falling boulder, crying out in agony. At that moment, Li Qiutin rushed forward to defend, using his skill Greystone Ape Shield to create a defensive barrier. He then shouted, "Brothers, get behind me! I'll charge ahead, wait for my command!" Then he immediately rushed forward, activating his Giant's Charge skill. The men behind him saw this and cheered, "The tremors have stopped. He can take down a monstrous beast of that size all by himself. The captain is superhuman." But Li Qiutin had no time for chit-chat and yelled at his underlings, "Why are you all just standing there frozen? Hurry up and aim for its eyes." The men looked towards the dragon's eyes and immediately prepared to launch their ranged skills. From the archers to the mages, everyone aimed at a single point and fired. But suddenly the assault stopped. The Earth Dragon tried to regain the initiative, swinging its massive clawed hand toward Li Qiutin. At that moment, Li Qiutin could only try to block the blow, shouting angrily, "Brothers, what are you doing? Don't stop attacking!" But then he was startled to hear the sounds of screaming from his men. "Ah! Who cast that fire rain spell? We're being ambushed." At that moment, everyone in the cave was being scorched by Zhang Li's flames. He stepped forward amidst the fire, leading with, "The Blood Frenzy Mercenary Guild is as well trained as they say, but it's a shame. All of you will die here today. Not a single one will leave this place alive." Two men from afar yelled back, "How dare you ambush our Blood Frenzy Mercenary Guild? Captain, you handle the Earth Dragon, we'll stop this punk." They then charged straight toward him. Hearing this, the man named Li Xiaotian strained with all his might to lift the Thunder Dragon's claw, causing the beast to stumble and fall backward once more. His rage reached its absolute peak. "Damn it! You want to force me to get serious? Today I'm going all out." He then stomped hard on the ground, leaping into the air before diving down onto the weakened Thunder Dragon. He smirked, "Ha, and I thought you were supposed to be tough." But his joy didn't last long, as the screams of his underlings erupted. "Quick, surround him!" The terrified men's bodies were pierced by ice arrows unleashed by Zhang Li. How is this possible? The casting speed of this spell and its power? Just who the hell are you? Zhang Li calmly advanced on the group, continuously forming ice lances in his hands. "Enough pointless talk. You only need to remember I'm the one who's here to take your lives." He then launched the ice lances, but fortunately Li Xiaotian rushed in, using his shield to block just in time. However, the ice projectiles from Zhang Li's skill still managed to pierce through the shield that Li Xiaotian was holding. Zhang Li slowly approached. Impressive. The famed defense of a Greystone Knight as expected. Li Xiaotian began to realize it. "Not only do you know who I am, but you also shattered my defense so easily. You're that young mage, aren't you? At last, I finally understand how Xiaochang and Chen Dong died by your hand. Since you've delivered yourself right to my door, let's settle all our old scores at once." Zhang Li scoffed, "You read my mind. That was my plan all along." Zhang Li then prepared his next skill. Instantly, the ground beneath the men turned into a sinking swamp, trapping their feet and preventing any movement. "This is swamp art," Zhang Li smirked. "But we're not done yet." More and more lightning orbs began to materialize before they were unleashed. Li Xiaotian was terrified. How can he cast two different types of spells at once? The man behind him shouted a warning, "Captain, watch out, those orbs will explode." He raised his shield. "Nonsense, watch me block this." But to his surprise, Zhang Li's lightning orb struck the swamp below. Li Xiaotian grimaced. Dealing with the Earth Dragon had already consumed too much of his stamina. "Time to use my last resort." He then activated the skill Absolute Defense. A wall of earth and rock erupted around him, closing in from all sides to completely encase him. Inside, Li Xiaotian thought to himself, "He's cast so many spells his mana has to be running low. In this state, I can not only defend against attacks, but also recover my stamina. If I can just stall for a little longer, I'll be able to use Giant's Descent." Zhang Li walked forward nonchalantly. The great captain of the Blood Wolf mercenaries is nothing but a coward hiding in his shell. Zhang Li once again gathered energy for his new skill, Demon Leopard Seal. "I saved this skill just for an occasion like this." Then he hurled it at the stone shell where the man was hiding. This single attack completely shattered his defense. A few days later, at the small town of Mai Koi inside the Golden Dragon Pavilion, News was spreading that the Bloodwolf Mercenary Guild had been found completely annihilated inside the Earth Dragon's lair. According to witnesses, the one responsible was a mage in a black cloak. Lin Mo clicked his tongue and said to Zhang Li, "Brother Zhang, it looks like you're about to be famous, but it seems your identity is still a secret. The Bloodwolf mercenaries did a lot of terrible things, so I'm sure plenty of people want to thank you. Better yet, they've even given you a title, the Black Mage Zhang Li." Reading the news, Zhang Li was a bit surprised and sighed, "I just hope this doesn't bring me any more trouble." Just as they were talking, the door opened and in walked two women, none other than Xu Wei and Qing Qing. Qing Qing spoke first. "Zhang Li, let's team up for the professional trial tournament." Hearing this, Xu Wei also got annoyed and stomped her foot. "I was clearly here first." Both of them then rushed forward to grab Zhang Li's arms. "Since when have you two known each other?" Zhang Li stammered, thinking to himself that the trouble before him could not be avoided.